Did I say that I need you? Oh, did I say that I want you? Oh, if I did, I won't fool you, see. No one knows this more than me. 'Cause I complete on.
G'day guys, my name's Dave and welcome to another Guitars Ready Hero song tutorial. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play Just Breathe by Pearl Jam, which is a great acoustic tune and it's got an awesome finger picking pattern to it. For the basics, you'll just need your guitar and standing tuning and you won't need a capo at all. If you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to guitarsreadyhero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. And finally, this lesson simply teaches you one song, but if really understanding and learning the guitar is something you've always wanted to do, but you didn't know where to start, then be sure to check out the Guitars Ready Hero Premium course and membership, which gives you all the guidance to play with confidence. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Let's jump into the lesson. Okay, let's start with the intro, which is also used in the verses, and there's just one line of tab here. Starting with the first bar, we're going to get into a C chord shape. Now, let's take a look at the first half of this bar. In terms of our finger picking hand, our thumb is going to take care of the 5th and 4th string. Now, index and middle finger will take care of the 3rd and 2nd strings, respectively. We will be changing this in a moment, though. We'll start off by pinching the 5th and 2nd strings together. We're going to hold that out for a little bit, and then there'll be 6 plucks here. That will be the 4th string, 3rd string, back to the root note, 2nd string, 4th, and then 3rd. And those 6 notes all together. And together with the pinch at the start. 1, 2, 2. Now what I suggest you do at this point is just keep practicing that picking pattern over and over again. And what that's going to do is just going to get your finger picking hand used to that sequence of notes, starting with a pinch, then thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. That finger picking motion, that finger picking pattern is more or less going to stay with us for the entire song. Moving on to the second half of this bar, our pinky finger will now go onto the 3rd fret of the 1st string. Now our finger assignments on our picking hand are going to change a tiny bit. And this is how Eddie Vedder does it. So the index and middle finger will now move to the 1st and 2nd strings, and your thumb will now take care of both the 5th and 3rd strings. The finger picking motion itself will stay more or less the same. So we're going to start with the pinch. So that's 5th and 1st strings now. Then the 6th note run will be 3rd string, 2nd string, root note, 1st, 3rd, and 2nd. So thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index. And together with the pinch, 3 and 4 and and the bar in total. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So notice that the order in which we use our fingers is going to stay the same. Just those fingers will be plucking different strings. Moving on to the second bar, we're going to lift our pinky finger from that C chord and we're going to play the exact same picking pattern that we just had. So our index and middle finger are still on the 2nd and 1st strings. So 1 and 2 and Then for the second half here, what we're going to do is put our pinky finger back down onto that 3rd fret of the 1st string. We'll pinch the 5th and 2nd strings and then pluck the 2nd string by itself. These 2 plucks are at 8th notes, so it's 3 and. Now for this next bit, it's a bit tricky if you want to play it the way Eddie Vedder does it. If you have long fingers, it's great. If not, there's a workaround. I'll get to that in a moment. But Eddie Vedder actually takes his pinky finger up to the 5th fret and lifts his index finger. So he's still got the root note down and he's going to do a pinch of the 5th and 1st strings and then a pluck on the 3rd string with the index finger. So at this point, the index finger can move back to the 3rd string. So if you want to do it the way Eddie Vedder does it, the second half of this bar, 3 and 4 and... But that's quite a stretch. It's uncomfortable for me. So what I actually do after this, I I just shift my pinky finger up to the 5th fret of the 1st string and then relocate my index finger to the 3rd fret of the 5th string, so the root note. And I'll do the pinch and then pluck the 3rd string. So 3 and 4 and that's way more comfortable. And this second bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the first 2 bars all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then we go to a G chord, but you only really need to put your middle and ring finger down on the 3rd frets of the 6th and 2nd string. Now at this point, our index and middle finger will move back to their original positions on 3rd and 2nd strings respectively, and your thumb will take care of the 6th and 4th strings. Our finger picking sequence remains effectively the same, but we're now plucking with slightly different strings. So we're going to pinch the 6th and 2nd string, and then our 6-note run is 4th string, 3rd, root note, 2nd, 4th, 3rd. So 1 E and 2 E and Now for the second half of this 3rd bar, we're going to take our pinky finger and move it up to the 5th fret of the 2nd string and play the exact same picking pattern. Now this might be a bit tricky for you. Now a workaround is to, instead of using that 5th fret of the 2nd string, is to use the open 1st string. That makes things a little bit more difficult because we are then adjusting our finger picking pattern and it's not something that we just repeat again and again. You then have to take your middle finger up to the 1st string and that would look like this. And you can absolutely do that if you wanted to, but I'm going to stick with the way Eddie Vedder does it with the pinky finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. So this 3rd bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and For the 4th bar, we return back to our G chord for that same picking pattern. And then for the second half, we'll lift our ring finger, pinch the 6th and 2nd strings, and then the 3rd string by itself without your index finger. And those are at 8th notes, 3 and ring finger comes back down onto the 3rd fret, and do the same thing. 4 and, so second half, 3 and 4 and in the 4th bar, 1 E and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and that's everything for the intro and verse, which will sound like this in total. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now in the actual recording, it's played quite fast. And because we're changing the assignments of our fingers to different strings at certain points throughout this riff, it can get a little bit tricky if you're trying to jump to it at a full speed. So I really suggest playing along with a metronome at a slow speed, practicing it again and again on a loop until you feel comfortable with it, and then just increasing that metronome 5 beats per minute at a time. I'm going to play this riff at 3 different speeds with a metronome so you can hear how that sounds, and I encourage you to play along. Now, I do want to note that if we use a metronome to the tempo of this song, the clicks will be on every beat. But if you want to practice this at a slower speed, what that means is that there's a longer time in between clicks and it's harder to actually lock into, especially if you're practicing this slow. So what I've done is I've doubled the amount of clicks so that the clicks are on every 8th note instead of every quarter note. Again, this just makes it easier to lock into a metronome when you're playing and practicing at a slow speed. Okay, so that's it for the verse, which is used through a lot of this song. Next is the refrain, which happens after the first verse. Now we're going to play an A minor chord here, and we're going to play that picking pattern where our index and middle finger are actually on the second and first strings. So similar to the C chord when we had our pinky on the third fret of the first string, we're going to be playing that picking pattern. So a pinch of the fifth and first strings, hold that out, and then third, second, root note, first, third, second. 1 and 2 and Now for the second half of this bar, we just put our pinky finger on the third fret of the first string. So this is an A minor 7, and we play the same picking pattern. 3 and 4 and The second bar is identical to the first bar, so we're just repeating that again. Then for the third bar, we go to an F chord. So this is just a basic F chord like this. So ring finger on the third fret of the fourth string, middle on the second fret of the third, and index spiraling across the first fret of the first and second string. We'll play essentially the same picking pattern, except our root note is now on the fourth string. So pinch of the fourth and first strings, then third, second, root note, first, third, second. 1 and 2 and Then for the second half, we play an F add 9, so just place that pinky finger on that third fret of the first string again, same picking pattern. 3 and 4 and So the bar in total. For the fourth bar, we go back to our F chord for one picking pattern. For the second half, we'll hold on to this F chord shape, pinch the fourth and first strings, and then pluck the second string by itself, then lift our index finger, do another pinch, and then pluck the third string by itself with our index finger. So 3 and 4 and the very end, he sort of just slows down the tempo there. So the final bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and So this refrain in total will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we jump into verse 2, which is just that main riff that we've already learnt. Then there's the pre-chorus, which is basically the same as our refrain, except for the fourth bar, we're just repeating that F to F add 9, similar to the third bar. So the pre-chorus sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next we get to the chorus, and there's 2 lines of tab here. So from our F add 9, keep your pinky finger where it is, pivot around that point and go to a G chord. So for the first bar, we're going to play this G chord with our typical picking pattern, but again our root note now moves to the 6th string, but our index and middle finger will stay on the 2nd and 1st strings. So pinch of the 6th and 1st, then our thumb comes all the way down to the 3rd string, plucks that, 2nd string, root note, 1st, 3rd, 2nd. So your thumb has to do a bit of a jump here to go from 6th to 3rd. 1 E and 2 E and we play that twice. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E. And then we go to a D minor chord. So just pivot around the ring finger here, which should just stay on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And we're going to play a picking pattern here. Again, the root note changes to the 4th string, but our index and middle finger will remain planted on the 2nd and 1st strings. And we play that pattern twice. The 3rd and the 4th bar are just identical to the 1st and 2nd bar. So the first line of tab, 1, 2, 3, For the second line of tab, from the D minor we go to our F chord, similar to the way we played it in the pre-chorus. So from the D minor I pivot around the middle finger because that can just stay there on the second fret of the third string. We're going to play 2 picking patterns here. And then we go to our A minor and we're going to play 2 picking patterns here. We're not going to do what we did in the pre-chorus and put our pinky finger on the third fret of the first string. We'll just play 2 straight picking patterns. Then we're going to go to a D minor, but we'll need to play the D minor with our pinky finger on the third fret of the second string because we'll need our ring finger in a moment to hit the C note. So we'll play 1 picking pattern here on this D minor, similar to the previous D minor in terms of the picking pattern. It's just we're fretting it differently. And then we'll go D minor over C. So put your ring finger now on the third fret of the 6th string, the C note. And we'll play 1 picking pattern here. So pinch the 5th and 1st strings, then 3rd string, 2nd, root, 1st, 3rd, 2nd. And that bar in total, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Then for the 4th bar, we play a B diminished. So just lift your middle and ring finger, and the middle finger will go up to the 2nd fret of the 5th string, so the B note. We're going to play 2 picking patterns here for this B diminished, but for the second picking pattern we're actually going to just leave out that final note, which is the 2nd string, with our index finger. So the B diminished bar, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. So I'll just play the 3rd and the 4th bar all together. For the 5th bar, we will take our ring finger and put it on the 3rd fret of the 6th string. So the G note, keep your pinky finger where it is, and we don't need our other fingers fretted at all. We're now going to pinch the 6th and 2nd strings. At this point, we take our middle finger up to the 2nd string here for our pinch. So 6th and 2nd, and then we play the 3rd string with our index finger. So 1 and. Then we're going to pinch the 6th and 1st strings. So our middle finger will now move up to the 1st string again, and we'll pinch the 6th and 1st. At this point you can lift your pinky finger, and then we pluck the 3rd string. So 2 and. Then for the 3rd little chunk, we're going to take our index finger, put it on the 1st fret of the 1st string, pluck the exact same notes. So pinch, then 3rd strings, and then lift our index finger and pinch the same strings. And then total, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's it for the second line of tab, which sounds like this. And the chorus in total will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. After the chorus, there's another verse, and then there's another pre-chorus, another chorus, then another verse, and then finally the outro. Now the outro is very simple because it's just basically the pre-chorus played through twice, except in the very final bar, we play one picking pattern of the F, and then I lift my index finger and just have it fretting the first fret of the second string and have the first string open and just strum an F major 7 chord like that. And that's how we end the song. But the outro is essentially just the same chords as the pre-chorus. Those are all the parts that we need to learn for this song. Again, I strongly encourage that you practice this with the metronome at slow speeds first, so that your picking hand can build some muscle memory, and then just bump that metronome up 5 beats per minute at a time until you can get to the speed of the actual song, which is actually quite fast. Now I'll be doing a full playthrough of the song with a vocal track on top for some context. A big thanks to my friend Eric for lending his awesome vocals to this playthrough. Feel free to play this back as many times as you'd like to practice, play along to, and see how you go.
Everything you gave had nothing you
Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this lesson, then I know you'll absolutely love these other lessons too. So hit the link here. Or if you want to grab a copy of my free guitar ebook, then head over to guitarzerotohero.com or click the link here. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.